The average monthly mortgage in Kennesaw, Georgia has increased every year for over a decade. In 2020, a typical mortgage in Kennesaw was $1,900 a month. In 2021, it was $2,600 a month. And in 2022, the average mortgage in Kennesaw went up to $3,200 a month. But what about other factors like utilities and gas and groceries? And what should you expect for this year for a typical mortgage? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Kennesaw is in the northwest part of Metro Atlanta, and it's certainly one of the suburbs. It's not close to Atlanta. So you're going to need a vehicle, which means gas is something that you definitely need to factor in when it comes to the cost of living in Kennesaw. Right now, the average cost of gas that I'm seeing around Kennesaw is about $3.10 to $3.20. We're kind of headed into the winter right now, so typically this is when we see the cost of gas go down. It certainly is a little higher in the summertime. I think this past summer I saw gas as high as $3.75. And I know that that's not as high as some of the other states in the US, but you have to remember that we do a lot of driving here in Metro Atlanta, especially in the suburbs. Things are not very close here. So you're going to be doing, a typical drive to the grocery store might be like 10 to 15 minutes, depending on where you are. So that's a normal kind of drive that we do here for daily errands or for dropping the kids off at school or whatever it may be. We certainly drive a lot here in Kennesaw. And there really isn't any kind of public transportation in Kennesaw. I mean, we do have the Cobb Transit Authority or something, but like nobody uses that. Nobody uses that public transportation in Kennesaw. So you're really going to be car dependent in this city. So along with the cost of gas, you also need to factor in the monthly cost of a vehicle and auto insurance. So certainly something to think about when it comes to the cost of living in Kennesaw. And then when it comes to monthly utilities for your home, you're usually looking at things like electricity, natural gas, and water. Natural gas and electricity is something that kind of goes hand in hand with most houses here in Kennesaw. Houses will either have a furnace running off of natural gas or they have that furnace running off of electricity. So if the home uses natural gas, you should expect somewhere around $200 a month for natural gas in the winter. And then in the summertime, that natural gas bill goes down to maybe about $50 a month. For electricity, the average monthly cost will be about $200 to $250 in the summertime, and then in the wintertime, it would go down to about $50 a month. But if the home does not have natural gas, it all goes under the electric bill. So you're typically looking at about $200 to $250 for every month of the year in Kennesaw for the electric bill. And then of course the water bill kind of depends on how much you're using the water, but I think typically you're looking at something like $35 to $60 per month for water. Now let's talk about how much the cost of homes are in Kennesaw, and we'll break that down to see how much the monthly payments would be for a home. If you're thinking about moving to Kennesaw or any part of the Metro Atlanta area, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm the one who answers the phone. I'm the one who answers those emails. I would love to help you out with your moving needs to Kennesaw. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I really am happy to help. But the average cost of a home in the last 90 days in Kennesaw is at $427,000. Comparatively speaking, in Marietta, the average price of a home is about $450,000, and in Alpharetta in the last 90 days it's been about $775,000. So Kennesaw is certainly a good deal, especially because it's in Cobb County, which is the same county that Marietta is in. And Cobb County is widely seen as one of the most popular counties in Metro Atlanta, and also one of the counties that has the best public schools in Metro Atlanta. So being able to find a home for $427,000 in Kennesaw is certainly a great deal compared to some of the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta. When it comes to price per square foot, in Kennesaw, it's about $194 per square foot, compared to Marietta, where it's $215 per square foot, and Alpharetta, where it's $268 per square foot. So you can easily see that the amount of home that you get in Kennesaw is far more for your money than in Marietta or Alpharetta. For example, right now in Kennesaw, 3312 Quickwater Landing is for sale. Is a 6-bedroom, 4-bath home with 2,700 square feet, and they're only asking $425,000. Also, 3528 Daventry Lane in Kennesaw is a 4-bed, 3-bath home, 2,000 square feet, and they're asking $420,000. And 2268 Northbrook Ridge is a 4-bed, 3-bath, about 2,500 square feet, and they're asking $450,000. These homes that we're looking at just now in Kennesaw would be worth almost twice as much in Alpharetta. So Kennesaw has the excellent schools. They also have the great home prices that are much more affordable than other places. And then there's also really good community that you can find in the city of Kennesaw. But what does this all mean for your monthly mortgage payment? Let's break this down to see how much a mortgage would be in Kennesaw. For a $427,000 home with a 5% down payment and an interest rate of 7.5%, because interest rates seem to be still climbing, your monthly mortgage payment would be $3,675. Now, this includes property taxes and homeowners insurance, so let's talk about how much you should expect for those things. When you have a mortgage, if you're a first-time home buyer, you may not realize yet that all of those property taxes and homeowners insurance go into your mortgage. Your bank pays those things after you pay for those things. So they use this escrow account that you're paying into to pay for the homeowner's insurance and the property taxes. But typically what you should expect for property taxes in Kennesaw is about 1.15% of the value of the home. So for a $427,000 home, property taxes for the year would be about $4,900. And then homeowners insurance certainly ranges a lot depending on the company that you're using or the amount of deductible that you have, but typically you would expect somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 per year for homeowners insurance. So for this example that I just gave, I used $2,000 a year for insurance. A quick note about property taxes here in Metro Atlanta, as well as many other parts of the US, home prices are rising very quickly, and this means that property taxes are also rising very quickly. There is a way to dispute your property taxes here in Georgia. There are companies who will do all of the disputing for you, and you really don't even have to lift a finger. In return, they take about 10 to 20% of that savings that you would get if the county does in fact lower your property taxes. Let me know if you want the information for one of those companies. I'll put it in the description below. But in Georgia, we don't have a law that prohibits the increase of property taxes every year. I know in some states like California, I think there's some kind of law that says you can't increase property taxes by a certain amount each year. In Georgia, we don't have anything like that. So property taxes are increasing very quickly here in Metro Atlanta. And then another huge part of the cost of living here in Kennesaw is what you should expect for monthly groceries. Now, again, a big factor is going to be which grocery store you go to, but there is a very wide range of grocery stores in Kennesaw. You can go to anything from an Aldi where they have very affordable groceries to a Whole Foods where you're going to pay more for groceries. In Kennesaw, there are plenty of Aldi's and Publix and Kroger, and there's a Whole Foods on Barrett Parkway. So you really have all kinds of options for finding groceries in this city. So overall, I'd say the cost of living in Kennesaw is a little lower than some of the other cities in Metro Atlanta, but there are some downsides to living in Kennesaw. There really are some things that are big red flags for living in Kennesaw, Georgia. If you want a list of the pros and cons of living in Kennesaw, check out this video. I'll see you there.